Matt Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome to it. Great to have you with us. As I look to my left here and see Keith, you had quite a weekend.
Thank you.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Stung by a bee? Like a really, really big bee? That's one of my favorite lines from
Is it?
The Santa Claus, the first one.
Yeah.
Tim Allen comes to work and they're doing that meeting. Yeah. And he says, yeah, I know. I was stung by a bee. Doctor said it should go down in a few days. Swelling should go down. I hope. And then after he eats all the food at the lunch break, the woman next to him says, stung by a bee, Tim, or whatever his name is. Whatever his name is. It was a big bee. That's what happened to you, Keith, I guess, over the weekend.
Yeah, that was it.
Big bee.
That was it.
And then something also happened to the top of your head. I mean, at least, we all know you're going balding. You're going bald, and the balding process continues. But you usually wear a cap to cover it up. And so...
Nope, off it went.
So Keith is out for the week, and Jeffy joins us. And you had to shave your head for the...
I did for the OUR, for my fundraiser.
Really cool fundraiser. Good job.
We got about, we raised, between 8 and 10,000. I really honestly don't know the final total of it. Mm-hmm. But it was really nice of everyone to donate. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. But part of the deal was, shave head, save a human. So,
cool.
We shaved it off live, and then I took it down even farther, down to the end. It's the first time actually I've been bald. It's really weird. Like I shaved it all the way down on Saturday,
mm-hmm.
and I didn't shave it this morning coming in, and you can still. I mean,
you got some
it's going to
stubble.
be it's good.
I mean,
to keep it bald is
takes some
It's
work.
going to be work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's almost like, how about no?
Well, the result is, as I think people on Twitter pointed out, and Corby pointed out when he came in, you do look like Mr. Clean, who just let himself go. Like a lot. like he's given up the will to live. And instead of that big buffed frame, well, you got this now. It looks great. It looks great. It was for a great cause. So good job. Nicely done.
Thank you.
Yeah. Football over the weekend.
Awesome
Your Missouri Tigers won.
Awesome stuff. You know it, baby. We beat Florida.
We're
going to a bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
And Dan Mullen, have a nice day. The University
the Florida
of Florida's
coach
head
fired.
Have a nice day.
Summarily fired right after the game.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know that they probably made it back to Gainesville. Maybe.
Yeah. BYU Cougars won in Georgia, South Georgia, Georgia Southern.
Yeah,
Georgia Southern. 34-17. And again, with the taking a knee when they shouldn't be doing that.
No.
He said, we like doing that. We like running out the clock. I love Kalani Sitake, the head coach. But he just won't.
Not then.
He won't drive that
Not
in.
Then.
And when you know the pollsters are looking at it, and he says, I don't care. That's their problem. Yeah.
Well,
no, not really.
Not really. Not especially now. I mean, right now BYU is ranked 13th at 9-2. There's two teams in front of them that do not deserve to be there.
That's for sure.
Michigan State and Oregon both got destroyed this weekend.
Seriously destroyed. And in Oregon's case, they got destroyed by a team BYU beat.
They have no business being in front of BYU in the top 25. No business whatsoever. Yep. And had they, run up a couple extra points here or there, perhaps the pollsters that don't watch BYU.
Right. They just see the score.
Right.
41-17 would have looked a lot better than 34-17.
It did in my book.
Yeah.
Because I didn't watch the game, and I looked at the final and went, ooh.
Yeah. Could have been much worse. But, what are you going to do? It just is what it is.
No, I know. And if you look at the box score, which I don't know if the pollsters even go that far, but, I mean, you see how the game played out.
How they dominated, especially in the second half. But if if they don't beat USC this weekend, which they must do, it's all a moot point anyway.
Right. Well, it's rivalry weekend. So.
The long-established BYU-USC rivalry.
I mean, BYU pretty much has dominated the Pac-12.
They have, and that needs to continue.
The Pac-12 doesn't want nothing to do with BYU anymore, man. They're happy they're going to the Big 12, I'll tell you that.
Yep. Also, we had kind of a multicast thing going on where you could watch 4 games at the same time. Really cool.
Modern technology
on an app.
Is great,
Modern technology is fantastic. So we were watching a little bit of when I went to commercial on the BYU game. We went to the Nebraska game where they were playing Wisconsin. They almost won again.
I know,
but that's their problem this year. They just keep almost winning.
I know they can't get over it.
Seriously, got to be the best 3-8 team in football
I believe
history.
That.
Have to be. That's they've only lost by 1 score. I think wasn't it 9 points or 8 or 9 points to Ohio State?
Yeah.
Who is just destroying teams right now.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And Michigan State, did not look good at all against Ohio State.
Ohio State can make you look that way. They can make you
look
really bad.
That's...
Yeah. But just a really, I guess the thing to start out the show with is...
I know.
So horrific. The tragedy last night at the Christmas parade in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Which is just an hour and a half from.
Yeah, you try to tie it into Kenosha,
where the trial was, and I don't know that there's any connection at all.
I don't know that there is either.
But a driver, somebody in a red Ford Explorer, just went smashing through the barricades, racing down the street, and then ran down dozens of people. 5 of them were killed, more than 40 injured. And nobody knows why. What was the motivation for this thing? Really, really bad. I don't know if the guy's just a nut or if there's some other motivation at play here.
Yeah, we definitely don't know.
I don't know.
We have, a couple of the videos from the parade as you see the, at the beginning of a couple of videos after the truck smashing through. And just,
oh, wow.
I don't know. Blurted out?
Blurted, yeah. It's pretty disturbing. And then did the guy keep going? He made it out of there, right?
Yeah, he did. And
he kept going, and they found
they found the truck in a driveway,
later.
And they have a person of interest in custody. That's all they're calling it, is a person of interest. And
we don't know the name of the person of interest.
No, there was a post at some point last night naming a name, but there's not been any confirmation from the police. There's not been any confirmation as to why, any motivation at all, whether he was being chased in another, apart from another crime, or if this was a separate crime, a standalone crime. We do not know that.
Really awful. At least 12 children were hurt in this.
And it could be,
could be many more than that.
As far as the deaths go, could end up being a lot more, because there's some people in some serious states of injury right now in the hospital.
And I don't think there's any question the guy, whoever it was, did it on purpose, right? It's not like he lost control of his vehicle all of a sudden and then just started slamming into people. He had an intent on running people down.
Sure did look like it.
Yeah.
It sure did look like it. Just terrible.
So no idea if that's tied to terrorism or somebody who didn't like the verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse case. I don't know. Who knows? It's at this point, we don't have that information at all. And all you can do is speculate.
They said that they were going to have another news conference today at noon or 1, I think, with an update. So, hopefully we may know more officially then. But, there may be other leaking news, but I don't think we've, until the police department tells us, the rest is all hearsay.
Yeah.
And then there was nobody. I do have one question about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Just from my perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we having a Christmas parade before Thanksgiving?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Just checking.
Yeah.
I was wondering.
It's so tragic, though. There were so many people going down to the parade thinking they're going to have a great time watching a parade, despite the fact that it happened a little early. But they were, just families who go out for an outing, and then this kind of horrific tragedy occurs.
And I saw one report where they were talking about how the police were, standing on the other side of the barricade when it was going on. Well, at a parade like that, you honestly, once they have the barricades up for the parade and the bands are marching or whatever else you have in the parades, I mean, the audience is there to see the parade. The police aren't there to be, they're there just to oversee it, right? To make sure everything stays. There's no way they could have done anything at all other than what they did. It's horrible. Horrible.
There is a report that one officer got off one shot at the person.
They said that there was a
bullet hole in the
car.
In the car. Yeah. Just really, really, really horrific.
And during the beginning of when everything is breaking, I mean, there were reports that there were multiple people in the car. There was only one person in the car. There were, so again,
we just don't know yet.
We don't know.
That kind of thing happens almost every single time there's a mass casualty event. We're looking for at least 2 gunmen, and then it turns out no, there were never 2. It was always just the one, and that happens almost every time. And so this is no exception to that rule. We got a whole bunch of disinformation and misinformation.
And really strange the picture that they had of the truck backed into the driveway.
That was weird, right?
Right.
I had the same thought. If you just ran down 40 or 50 people and your car is damaged from that, why do you back into your driveway to have the front end exposed like that? Really weird.
I know.
Really very weird. I don't know. And I don't know if it had anything to do with the other really big story from Friday that happened right after we got off the air. Well, it's actually a little bit, I guess it was a little later than that, in the afternoon sometime. But Kyle Rittenhouse was acquitted on all charges.
Incredible.
And what a relief that is. If you've been following the trial and you know any of the specifics and the lack of evidence that they had, and that people who even were supposed victims were testifying that, I pointed at him first. So, yeah. Oh, okay, well, why are we even here?
Right. Especially after what the one, nobody asked you to change your testimony. Well, yeah, they did. You did. Wait, what? Wait, what?
You're saying I just asked you questions, but I didn't follow up and ask you to change your story. Did I?
Yeah.
Well, you did. Yes, that did happen. I know.
He was continuing this thing.
He's just really bad lawyering there.
Really bad.
On behalf of the prosecution.
Really bad. And some of the reactions around.
We got to get into that coming up here in a second. But it's amazing. You want to hang out for this whole show because there's some amazing things to talk about today. First, I want to talk about a new documentary movie called Enemies Within the Church. This is a movie that the compromised evangelical establishment doesn't want you to see. Enemies Within the Church exposes those who are selling out the church to postmodernism, and it shows you the money behind it. There's been a hostile postmodern takeover within conservative Christianity. Postmodernism includes agendas like social justice, intersectionality, critical race theory, and neo-Marxism. But this movie rocks the boat in a good way. Presents the truth that's been long needed to be told. There are, in fact, enemies coming into the church. Problem doesn't merely affect the church around the corner. Postmodernism is not hurt. It's not just hurting the more liberal denominations. It's everywhere. Now, postmodernism is something that Glenn's talked about quite a bit, and it's got to be rooted out. Enemies Within the Church brings together Christian voices from across the nation and the world. Every Christian patriot, every Christian and every patriot needs to see this film and then share it with everyone you know. I encourage you to buy the DVD or purchase the PPV streaming at enemieswithinthechurch.com. That's enemieswithinthechurch.com.
Pat Gray.
All right, the psychotic left has just gone ape crap crazy over the verdict in the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. And it's amazing to me because it just shows their ignorance, their absolute lack of any knowledge, or if they know, they're just flat out liars. But they seem to be completely ignorant to the facts. And the facts are that it was very clear from the very beginning this guy shouldn't have even been on trial, let alone convicted. But they continue to treat it also as a racial situation, which I can't for the life of me understand when it was white on white violence. So how are you making this a racial issue?
I mean, the only way that you can, tie that in is that it's,
the riots were brought on by
part of the summer of love, right? I mean,
Yes.
so it was within that framework.
But really, this particular trial has nothing to do with that.
Right. But, we had our vice president weighing in.
Yes, she weighed in.
As she was, over her, she was ending the France trip and did her nice walk up to the press right after the trial, which I thought was great. She's great. It's good that she's wearing black.
Hey guys, well it was a good trip, and they have questions about the verdict, and the verdict really speaks for itself. As many of you know, I've spent a majority of my career working to make the criminal justice system more equitable, and clearly there's a lot more work to do. Thanks. Thanks all.
Madam Vice President, before calling it systemic.
Okay, what?
Clearly there's a lot more work to do, Pat.
Okay, it's
clearly
trying to make it. She was trying to make the justice system more equitable, and obviously there's a lot more work to do because this wasn't equitable. What do you mean? What wasn't equitable about what happened here? Did any of you people, any of you morons, spend any time watching the trial or investigating what was said at the trial or finding out any of the facts?
No. There's no way they did that.
There's no way. There's no way. And in fact, Joe Biden admitted that he hadn't seen the trial, so he had comments anyway.
Do you have any reaction to the Kyle Rittenhouse verdict?
I just heard a moment ago.
Do you have any reaction?
I didn't watch the trial, so I.
Okay.
Stand by your past comment equating him to white supremacy?
Well,
Well,
I
look.
stand by what the jury has concluded. The jury system works.
that was
we
nice
have
of
to
you.
abide
Yeah,
by it.
wasn't it?
What is the state of your health, sir?
What do you mean you stand by the verdict? What does that mean? That if it was a verdict that you didn't like, you would have changed it somehow? Like you have that power? Okay. He didn't stand by what he said previously, but what he said previously essentially was that Kyle Rittenhouse was a white supremacist. And they, at least to her credit, the reporter there was asking him about, do you stand by your insinuation that Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist? Well, look, the jury and stuff. I've said too much already. I've said too much. Just answer the question. You still think Kyle Rittenhouse is a white supremacist? And if so, based on what?
Thank you.
Where do you get that?
Thank you.
Because I don't see any evidence of it anywhere. In fact, he's got the Tucker Carlson interview tonight on Fox.
Oh yeah, Tucker had followed him around and was
did a documentary
and filming with him. Yeah.
And he claims on Tucker Carlson tonight that he is a supporter of BLM. He's a Black Lives Matter supporter. He wanted it to be peaceful, and he wanted to defend people's businesses rather than see them burned to the ground. So I think that's an interesting
It is, isn't
little
it?
tidbit there for the left. The guy is a BLM supporter.
They don't care.
They don't care. You're right. They don't care.
I mean,
none of the facts will matter.
You don't care. You don't. They don't. They just don't.
Yeah, Mel did say it best when he said,
You don't care.
little message there to the left.
You just don't. It's embarrassing.
But Rittenhouse responds to his critics who accuse him of acting out some kind of racial animus. Again, what do you mean he's acting out racial animus? He shot white people. White people. Multiple commentators on MSNBC, for example, have called Rittenhouse a racist or a white supremacist. And MSNBC host Tiffany Cross called him a little murderous white supremacist.
Wow.
Yesterday, she said that. Unbelievable. And as Rittenhouse will tell you tonight on Tucker Carlson's show, this case has nothing to do with race. It never had anything to do with race. It had to do with the right to self-defense. He said, I'm not a racist person. I support the BLM movement. I support peacefully demonstrating. He continued, I believe there needs to be change. I believe there's a lot of prosecutorial, just can't speak today, prosecutorial misconduct, not just in my case, but in other cases. It's amazing to see how much a prosecutor can take advantage of someone. You know, and to just debunk, again, some of the things that circulate on the internet and on broadcast TV and the cable news channels other than Fox News. Number one, he didn't kill 2 black BLM protesters. All 3 of the men shot were white. Then there's he crossed state lines. So
you get to do that.
So you can, in America, it's all right to cross state lines.
You get to do that.
Now, he did not cross state lines with his gun because his AR-15 was being kept at his friend's stepfather's house in Kenosha. So the gun did not cross state lines with him. But he lived 20 miles from Kenosha in Antioch, Illinois. He works in Kenosha. He's got all kinds of family in Kenosha. So that's a nonsensical argument.
I love
Which also
crossed state lines.
Yeah. So and I've crossed state lines a lot of times.
I know. And in many places, as Kyle did, you cross state lines every day for employment,
right?
And or for whatever reason, you get to do that.
Yes, yes. When we worked in New York City, in Manhattan, I lived in Connecticut.
3 states every day.
Cross state lines every day, every single day. Number 3, Rittenhouse took an AR-15 across state lines. We already addressed that. Number 4, the gun was illegal. Wrong. 17-year-olds may own firearms in Wisconsin. You don't like that? Take it up with a legislator there. Rittenhouse's mother drove him across state lines to the riot. No. Wendy Rittenhouse, who's his mom, never went to Kenosha. She slept late the morning of August 25th after working a 16-hour shift at a nursing home. Kyle had already gone to his job in Kenosha when she woke up. She had nothing to do with it. Number 6, he was an active shooter who just took his gun to a riot looking for trouble. Again, absolutely not. He, on Friday, after evidence in court already had debunked these talking points, Joe Scarborough called Rittenhouse a self-appointed militia member unloading 60 rounds. When the defense called out the lie in closing argument, Scarborough had the gall to tweet that he was embarrassed for the lawyer. Okay, you're embarrassed that the lawyer was citing facts in the case?
Right.
In the trial of the person that you're talking about? They're shameless. They're just absolutely shameless. Number 7, Rittenhouse is a white supremacist, as then candidate Joe Biden labeled him in a tweet showing the teenager's photograph.
Yeah, that ad that he ran. I don't know that I don't think it mentioned him specifically, but it certainly showed that classic Rittenhouse pose in the white supremacist
insinuated
ad. You're darn right they did.
Number 8, he flashed white power signs with the Proud Boys. No, but he did do this after getting out of jail on bail, $2 million bail. 2 days after his 18th birthday, he went to a bar for a beer with his mom and some other adults. It is legal in Wisconsin to do that. He posed for selfies with strangers at the bar. The media say they were Proud Boys.
Okay.
Who knows? It was probably not a great decision to do selfies in the midst of all of this. But
he's a young kid.
And he did the OK sign, which Joe Biden does all the time, and nobody ever calls it a white supremacist sign because it's not a white supremacist sign. Number 9, he wore surgical gloves to cover his fingerprints. He wasn't wearing a mask, so he was on video all over the city.
All over the city. Plus, he was there, right? Or that was his point of being there was to help injured people.
Right. Yes.
And that's why he originally went there.
And that's why he was wearing the gloves. Yeah. And then the thing, number 10, Judge Bruce Schroeder is a Trumpy racist biased toward the defense, which is interesting because he's actually a Democrat who was appointed by a Democrat.
That's so good.
It's just,
That's so good.
At least look into what you're talking about. You know, even if you only do a cursory search on the facts, but they don't care.
Look,
they don't care about
in the words from the statement by President Biden in the White House, while the verdict in Kenosha will leave many Americans feeling angry and concerned, myself included.
That's what it was. Yeah.
We must acknowledge
he's angry and
that
concerned.
The jury has spoken. I ran on a promise to bring Americans together because I believe that what unites us is far greater than what divides us.
Wow.
I know that we're not going to heal our country's wounds overnight, but I remain steadfast in my commitment to do everything in my power to ensure that every American is treated equally with fairness and dignity under the law. And then he goes on to tell you to express your views peacefully and don't do anything violent to destroy property.
It's incredible. I mean, it's absolutely incredible.
And he tells us that he's been in contact with the governor to prepare for any outcome in this case. Oh, okay. Good.
That's great. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
President Governor
And my favorite comment, I think, I don't remember my favorite, probably my favorite, from Maria Shriver.
Oh, yeah, I love this.
Who tweeted, I'm trying to take a beat to digest the Rittenhouse verdict. My son just asked me how it's possible that he didn't get charged for anything. How is that possible? I don't have any answer for him.
She doesn't even have an answer? He was tried by a jury of his peers and found innocent.
But he was charged.
Yeah, he was charged.
That
is true.
They went before a jury.
He just wasn't convicted. Maybe you could straighten him out on that. Thing one.
Innocent. And plenty of people were quick to point out that they were still trying to digest Chappaquiddick, so calm down.
That is the perfect response. Yeah, we've been trying to digest that thing for 52 years now. Thank you. Wow. That's crazy.
Maria, what are you doing?
What are you doing?
I mean, I can see
that's asinine.
I can see the strong-hearted idiot leftists on TikTok screaming and crying about they can't believe that he was he was found innocent.
She's a news person.
Right.
She's a news person. She should know some of the facts.
Is Skeletor? Maybe she's trying to get back. Maybe she needs a new gig.
Maybe. All right. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
Pat Gray returns on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome to it. 888-900-3393. We're just going to go to our caller. Lost her. We lost her.
Oh, no.
Before we even got to know her. or him, or her, whatever it was. Got some tweets here. Hippie Patriot tweets, Keith, I don't think the Keeps is working for you any longer. He was just talking last week about how Keeps is regrowing hair, and now we got Jeffy's bald head as Keith.
I don't know why that's...
Right, but it was, he's kind of picking up where I left off at the beginning of the show, which is fun.
I got it.
Also from Nancy's Privileged Bird Bath Scrubber, could you guys get someone in there from makeup? The glare off of Jeffy's head is blinding me.
Is it?
Thanks. Yeah.
Tone that down.
We should tone that down just
Tone that down a little
just
bit.
a tad. Yeah, it's like Rudolph when he first, the nose cover pops off and
yeah.
Whoa. Back that off, Rudolph.
Oh, that's too bad. He was.
Yeah, I love
They were
what
so
Santa
mean
says.
to him. They were so mean.
Oh, what a shame. And you showed some promise, too. But not now with that red nose.
Oh.
You're just an embarrassment. You should have never been born. Yeah, maybe not the greatest thing for Santa to say there, but I guess he got caught in a weak moment.
Yeah, he was just a little upset.
Yeah. He wasn't expecting it.
He wasn't.
So I guess the nose shaming was okay in that particular
It was for a
instance.
while.
Yeah,
it was for a while.
Jeffy's Meat Sweats tweets, the totally peaceful and definitely non-violent protest right now over the verdict in no way resembles the horrific violence of 1/6.
Thank you.
Where they moved the barrier to parade to the podium to move it. Right.
I mean,
that's right.
You cannot forget that.
No, it was the day that democracy
Almost died.
Of course, we can't forget. Look at that.
Thank
Look
you.
at them parading, milling around. Some of them wearing red ball caps. It's wrong. It's wrong. Guy's got a hoodie. Somebody else has a cowboy hat, carrying an American flag. It's despicable what they're doing.
That's actually embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. It is. I mean, other things went on.
I know.
But the vast majority was this. The vast majority was that
I know there
right
was,
there.
some stuff that should not have been going on. No question.
Yes, there
I
was.
get it. But to keep driving home that this was
an insurrection.
We were close to the end of democracy.
Right. Stop it. Novocaine for the Soul tweets, Pat, I'll thank you to wait until the media tells you what the narrative is regarding the tragedy in Wisconsin. Why waste time speculating when they'll tell you what to say?
Boy,
and probably win. I can say it. That's true.
Yes, they will.
Carl Smith tweets, with breakthrough COVID cases, hospitalizations and deaths increasing among the vaccinated population, how soon will the Biden administration go back to calling it the Trump vaccine?
I mean, it's probably pretty close. Right?
We're not far from that.
I mean, we've got the go-ahead now for the boosters, right? The FDA said that Pfizer and Moderna can
are
have
going
the boosters.
For the third booster, and then there will be the fourth booster. And they're kind of making no bones about it now.
Yes.
Fauci had some things to say the other day about this.
Let's talk about later on. Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla recently said there's a high chance boosters would be needed annually. Do you think that's a possibility, or do you believe it might be even sooner, like every 6 months?
You know, we follow the data, and it's so easy to predict, Marthur, about how often you would need it. We would hope.
Pause it for a second.
And this is.
I can't understand
the R's.
The R thing.
The R's, I know.
When it's an A.
I wanted to just stop him right there and go, let me tell you, hey, Doc.
It's not, my name is not Marthur, okay? It's Martha. Not Marthur, Martha.
This isn't the ABR network, okay? It's the ABC network. And my name is Martha.
Martha. Thank you. All right, let's go back a little bit. Let's hear him say Marthur again.
You know, we follow the data, and it's so easy to predict, Marthur, about how often you would need it. We would hope, and this is something that we're looking at very carefully, that third shot with the mRNA.
Pause it for a second. All right. I know that this isn't the point of the video, but I can't let it go. He does use an R at the end of Martha, so it's Marthur, but he doesn't say the R in carefully. Why is that? Why? It's. I guess it's going to remain a mystery to us. Let's see the rest.
Third shot with the mRNA not only boosts you way up, but increases the durability so that you will not necessarily need it every 6 months or a year. We're hoping it pushes it out more. If it doesn't, and the data show we do need it more often, then we'll do it. But you want to make sure you get the population optimally protected, and you do whatever you need to do to make sure you do that. My hope as an immunologist, as an infectious disease person, that maturation of the response, increasing its strength and power, will be followed by a greater durability. That's what I'm hoping for. If it doesn't happen, we'll act accordingly.
Okay, thank you, Doc. He had more to say, I believe, to Marthur, didn't he?
Does the definition of what constitutes fully vaccinated need to change now to include a booster shot?
We're going to follow that very carefully, Dana, and that's what we say, that's what we mean when we say we let the science and the data follow. So we're going to take a look right now at what the durability is of the booster, and we're going to follow people who get boosted. We don't know right now. You have to be perfectly transparent and honest. We're going to be doing the best we can to keep the American public optimally protected. If that means that that's going to be a boost that will absolutely everyone will have to have, then so be it. We'll do it that way. But it will be guided by the science. And people should not be put off by the fact that as time goes by and we learn more and more about the protection, that we might modify the guidelines. That's what we've been saying all along. Follow the science. Things change, and you have to follow the data.
It gives us an excuse to keep pushing the goalposts back further and further, Marthur. Marthur, do you agree with that? I know you do over there. You're agreeing with the fact that we should do this every, 6-8 months or so, Marthur?
With the data. With the data shows. We follow the science.
Follow the science, my anus.
And then he walked it back a little bit in another interview, talking about saying that, the booster shot is needed to be considered fully vaccinated. No, you're fully vaccinated with the 2 right now.
Okay, so he probably got some flack from that.
Yes.
And now you're fully vaccinated.
You're fully vaccinated with the 2.
But the
definition is the original 2 doses right now. That's it.
Just told us how they're going to continue to change this over and over and over again and push the goalposts back further and further and further by saying, we're going to follow the science over there. And people shouldn't be alarmed at the fact that we keep moving the goalpost over there. Okay. Well, you know what? I am going to be alarmed when it keeps changing. As I said on Friday, it was 15 days to flatten the curve. Then it was just wait until we get the vaccine. Then it was, okay, now you can't take the mask off. You need the mask and the vaccine. Then it was, okay, you need the 2-shot vaccine thing, but also you need a booster shot. I mean, over and over and over again.
Yep.
They're just not, they do not want to relinquish any of the power that they have gained through this pandemic. They're never going to let it go. 888-900-3393. Let me tell you about Preborn. Preborn is such a great organization. They know, as well as we know, that abortion is the leading cause of death in the United States and around the world, that 63 million babies have been aborted in the United States alone. Nearly 1 in 4 pregnancies end in abortion. So the Ministry of Preborn is partnering with us at Blaze Media to help rescue 10,000 babies by the end of this year. And you can be a part of it. Preborn is the direct competition to Planned Parenthood and the largest provider of free ultrasounds in the United States. And when they show a woman her baby on ultrasound and they hear the heartbeat, there's an 80% chance that she is going to choose life because she can see it. She can hear it. It's right there in front of her. And it becomes a realization that isn't a lump of, it's not some clump of cells. That's a baby there. So please help us raise enough to rescue 10,000 babies' lives by the end of the year. To donate, dial pound 250 and say the keyword baby. A $28 donation will cover one ultrasound for a woman. Maybe you can't do that much. Maybe you could do $5. If so, whatever will help. That's pound 250, keyword baby, or go to preborn.com/Pat. Psyched about it, too. Welcome. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Thanks for being here. Got some tweets from Anthony Otano. How is it we all watched the same trial, yet we all saw something different? Honest question. I got an answer, and so does Jeffy.
I know.
It's the same one. We all didn't watch the trial. First of all, these lefties didn't watch 1 second of that trial. They didn't.
Not a chance.
So they're completely uninformed about what happened. And even if they are informed, then they just ignore it because it doesn't fit their agenda. It doesn't fit with what they want to believe, and so they don't believe it. Nancy's privileged birdbath scrubber. The left only sees what it wants to see. They're blind to the truth. Exactly. Race the big brown truck. How long till they just go ahead and put the COVID vaccines in the water supply? What's to say they haven't done that already? I don't know if it would do the same if it was diluted in water, but who knows?
Right.
Rants Out Loud tweets, it's amazing that people are willing to take numerous frequent jabs of experimental substance into their bodies when 99.99% recover, and the lefty's horse dewormer makes you snap back quickly. Yep. Pastor Sam tweets, the Steadfast Baptist, how much you want to bet the Pfizer Mectin will only be available if you've been vaxxed? Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. That
is a
might be a good
possibility.
Bet. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Wouldn't that be ironic, too? That would show you they don't give a rat's anus about your health and your well-being.
No.
It's all about their agenda. It's all about their money intake. 888-900-3393. Let's go to Deborah in Pennsylvania. Hey, Deborah, you're on the Blaze.
Good morning, Pat.
Morning.
Jeffy, or
hello,
Fester, Uncle Fester. I just had a comment on the video you played of Dr. Fauci. I think he might have accidentally admitted the truth, which is maybe why he walked that back, because he was saying we need to follow the science to see how the vaccine works and how often we need boosters. And isn't he just blatantly admitting that they're experimenting on the American people?
Basically.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's pretty much, again, basically said that before, really.
Yeah. Appreciate it. Thanks. That's a good pickup on that, though, Deborah. Thanks. Appreciate it.
That's a great point. And that's why he throws it out there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Just,
Then he's got to cover his butt. And that's why he's taken both sides of every single issue from the very onset of this thing. So it's been amazing to watch. And you think, okay, he can't possibly do it again. And then he does it again. Unbelievable. Something else that's unbelievable. Built bars. I mean, here we are, 3 days from Thanksgiving, which I love.
Oh, my gosh.
There's so much great food and a lot of desserts that we consume this time of year full of calories and sugar. But if you'd like to have a little bit healthier take on delicious dessert, try a Built Bar. Instead of a slice of pie, which, probably if it's a normal piece of pie, it's at least 500, 600 calories. Built Bars, 180 or less. They're 4 grams of sugar. They're packed with protein. You're going to love them. And instead of raspberry pie, you could have a raspberry Built Bar instead. 100% real chocolate, low calorie, low fat, low carb, high in protein. Built Bars are a great option for any time you're hungry, really. And you can eat these guilt-free. And maybe share them with your family. Maybe not. I made that mistake, and it turned out that my family didn't share them with me. They were gone so quickly. Go to Built.com. Use the promo code PAT15 to save 15% off your first order. Promo code PAT15 for 15% off at Built.com.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
On a lighter note, yet another Ghostbusters movie has been released. I can't keep track.
This one looks good, though.
They did the original.
Yeah.
Then they did Ghostbusters 2.
Yep.
Then they did Ghostbusters, the female version.
Which was terrible.
Because we have to do it equitably.
Which was terrible.
It's insanity. And everybody said it was terrible.
Yes.
And now it's Ghostbusters Afterlife.
This looks good, actually. I mean, all the previews I've seen looks really good.
Number one with 44 million over the weekend. 44 million.
Not bad.
That's not bad in the COVID era. That's not bad. Eternals is number two with 10.8 million, 135.8 million since it came out. It's not good. At least I didn't think so. I didn't like it.
This is this the third week of that?
Yeah.
10 mil? Ooh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But 135 million, almost 136 million since it came out.
But
not bad in the COVID era. I don't
Eternals
know.
was a couple $100 million, right?
I would think so, yeah.
I think it was.
This doesn't take into account the streaming money, which, HBO and
they all spend.
Disney aren't getting these things for free. Well, Disney probably is if it's their property. But Clifford the Big Red Dog came in number 3 with 8.1 million, 33.5 since it came out. Then King Richard, which I don't know anything about that, 5.7 million. It got 92% approval on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's
cool.
King Richard, that's the Williams sisters. That's where Will Smith plays their dad. Plays the Williams sisters' dad. Looked pretty good.
Okay.
We'll see, though. I mean, obviously the crowd didn't rush.
No, apparently not. No. Dune, still in theaters, but it's also streaming online. That brought in 3 million at the box office. 98.2 million overall. Dune's really good.
Is King Richard streaming too?
Don't know.
I gotta look to see if that.
I don't know. But Dune is great.
So.
I highly recommend.
Yeah, I liked Dune. Dune was a fun ride. I was bummed. It was more bummed when I realized, I was kind of looking forward to it, and then just before we sat down to watch it, we found, this is only part one.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And
it's
they
a small
were
portion of the book. Really.
I know, and they were waiting to see
how it was going to do.
It did before they announced. Yeah, This is part one, but there may never be a part two, and there still may never be. They said that there's going to be now, but it still may never happen.
No, it's got to happen. It has to happen.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't suck us in like this and then say, "Oh well, no, sorry."
We're getting to it.
Yeah, we're not going to do it.
To it.
That happens though a lot.
It sure does.
A lot. Let's see. Also, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, brought in 2.8 million, 206.5 million since it came out. Wow. That's a big hit for the COVID era.
Sure
that is huge. No Time to Die, the new James Bond movie, 2.7 million, 154.7 million total. Read an interesting review of No Time to Die where the reviewer thought that the person who did the movie hated James Bond movies because this was essentially the opposite of everything James Bond ever did, apparently. He's like, here it is. It's a pity what has become of James Bond. The womanizing secret agent is unrecognizable as a respectful, sexless dad in No Time to Die.
And that's Daniel Craig, though. I mean, he's not going to do anything else but that now. Right? I mean, that's the way he's just.
I guess
he's part of the Hollywood muckety mucks that have bowed to the woke. crowd.
This reviewer though kind of blames it on director Cary Joji Fukunaga. Hinted at how badly No Time to Die would turn out when he described Sean Connery's original version of 007 as a rapist. Yeah, that's
what I mean, though.
That's not a good start.
But Daniel could fight against that, and no way he's going to do that.
And he apparently didn't.
Right.
He didn't.
Right.
But there's some spoilers in here in the rest of the review, so I won't read it. But apparently, James is not his normal self here. He's a completely different guy. Plus, I think you know from the previews that the new 007, and there is a 007 in the movie. James is apparently retired from that or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, there's a new one, and it's a black female. So they've got to, you have to.
007 was just the code for the secret agent person.
Yes.
Wasn't just a white male.
Exactly.
Bastards.
But you knew that because of, I don't know, political correctness, wokeness.
Oh, yeah.
All of the above. It had to be a minority and it had to be a woman. Had to be. So, goodbye to James Bond, who's apparently going to rest in peace now.
And Eternals was $200 million.
It cost $200 million.
Yeah,
to make.
There's no way they're crying in their beer, man.
Yeah.
Because what'd you say, 135?
Let's see.
Eternals?
Yeah, 135.8 million. But, it's not free to the streamers.
No, I know, but that's still, if they already dished out a couple $100 million. They're not making anything. Okay, so.
It's a bad movie, though. It shouldn't make anything.
Right.
It's a bad movie. You can spend $200 million if you want, but if you don't have a good story, if it's just a mess like this thing is, well, then you're not going to make your money back, right? It's sad but true. There's nothing you can do.
Just make a better movie.
Make a better movie.
It's a pretty simple process.
And people do make good movies for under $200 million.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I watched Red Notice.
Yeah.
On Netflix with The Rock and Gail Gadot. Yeah, Gadot, whatever. And what's his face? Oh, married to Blake Lively.
It's not Gail, it's Gal Gadot.
Whatever. She's
and
terrible.
Ryan Reynolds.
She's terrible.
Is she?
Yeah, I can't take her. I know the world loves her, and
Well, they like to look at her. Yes. I don't know if they love her.
And I'm not opposed to that either.
Yeah.
But I'm not a big fan of her.
It's not horrific
acting.
to look at her, that's for sure.
No, it's not.
It's not like she's a Gila monster.
No, she is not a Gila monster. No. But they spent like $160 million making it. Netflix movie, and he even joked around about having to take a bunch of cuts because they were, they cost Netflix a bunch of money because they, were joking around a bunch of cuts, and it's okay, it's a Raiders of the Lost Ark kind of ride.
Oh,
but
it wasn't great.
Yeah.
I've yet to. I don't know if I've seen a Netflix movie that was great.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that. I'd have to go look at the
list,
I'd
have to.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about that. And it was fun. I mean, it was absolutely fun to watch. It was no question about that. And I think it's their number one movie now, so they're happy with it. But
I just watched the new Tom Hanks movie. What's it called? It's like
I like that
dystopian thing. You've seen it?
Yeah.
It's on Apple TV.
Yeah. No, oh no, that's a different one.
Yeah, this one's called. I don't know. It's so forgettable. I forgot what it is. But it's the Earth has been, radically, virtually destroyed. And I thought they were going to go down the climate change road. They actually didn't. It was a solar flare.
That's the Finch.
Yeah, Finch.
Yeah,
Finch. And it's just it goes nowhere and does nothing. It's not. I didn't like it. But it's all about him. I mean, I think he might be the only human you see the entire movie.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but interesting that he would go this route. He's been doing a lot of these streaming movies lately.
Well, I mean,
is that what he's going to do now?
He gave the big ad to Apple not long ago, remember, right? Wasn't that Apple that he did that stupid ad for with masks or vaccines or whatever? And so he's all in with Apple.
He's an Apple guy, yeah. And I'm sure he's making a fortune for these movies because
I would guess that Tom's not working for free.
No, I would guess not. Yeah, in fact, I'll bet he doesn't step on stage for less than $20 million. 25 million, something like that.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you think I just looked at his net worth, and I thought that he would be worth more than $350 million. I'm a little disappointed in Tom.
That's a pretty disappointing figure.
I know, he's Tom
I
Hanks.
spit at 350 million. I spit.
I don't know how he's getting by. No, I just would expect Tom to be, at least $500 million. What's he doing?
I don't know. He's squandering his money, maybe?
Right?
I don't know. Let me tell you about Tommy John. This Black Friday, celebrate softness season by stocking up on your favorite Tommy John underwear, loungewear, and pajamas. I love this stuff. I get into my Tommy John loungewear as soon as I get home. And I love it. I would wear it everywhere if my wife wouldn't scream at me as I'm heading out the door. You're not wearing it! Going to the store! Yeah, I really am. I am. And it looks perfectly fine to go to the store in something like this, but you'll never have more comfortable underwear or loungewear. You'll never find anything more comfortable than this. When you start your day by wearing Tommy John, you're that much more comfortable, so you can do everything better. It's really true. When you feel better, you function better. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics. Tommy John, during Black Friday at Tommy John's big sale, get 20% off site-wide at TommyJohn.com/unleashed. Again, during the Tommy John's Black Friday sale, get 20% off for a limited time only, TommyJohn.com/unleashed. Go there right now. See the site for details.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Point of personal privilege?
Yes.
Pat Gray is here, and he's unleashed. Please do not use gendered language to address everyone.
Thank you. Thanks. Appreciate it.
In that little audio short that's played on Blaze Radio, if you're listening on the Blaze Radio network, we had a little audio short clip of Chewing the Fat, my daily podcast, which you can subscribe to wherever you get your podcasts. And it's a valid question. I want to know if they call it, what do they call it, something different in the Mile High Club if you're having sex in a helicopter when you're flying rather than in an airplane.
Well, no, because
that's kind of the same thing, really.
I don't think you're going a mile high, are you? In a helicopter?
But it's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing.
It is the same thing.
Because you're not a mile high, so you can't be part of the Mile High Club.
You're in the air, so you're flying and you're taking care of a little business in the air. It's the same thing.
The name of the business, as you put it, is contained in the title, in the actual title of the incident we're talking about.
The same.
The Mile High Club. Mile high. You got to be a mile high.
Okay, but it's the same thing.
No, it's not the same thing. Not if you're not a mile high. No.
If you're,
it's called the Mile High Club for a reason. Because you're over a mile high in the air.
Whatever.
All right. 888-900-3393. It's an important discussion, though, that we got to.
I'll tell you another important discussion. Mm-hmm. I want to know how I'm going to know what pizza to order from Papa John's now that they're changing their name.
Oh, that's right. The big name change.
Papa John's is changing their name, and it's going to confuse people.
I'm sure it will.
So, like, when I go to order pizza, and I'm a Papa John's fan.
I am, too. I like it.
I like Papa John's pizza. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, we have the app on the phone. We order through their app. I mean, we get the deals the best we can through the Papa John's app, but they're changing their name from Papa John's to Papa John's.
How are you even going to find the app?
I don't know.
Because you won't.
I don't know.
You won't know what it's called.
They're changing.
They're changing it from Papa John's
to
Papa John's.
Papa John's.
Wow.
They're losing the apostrophe. I don't know how much money they're going to spend on changing signs.
Why would you do that?
Else,
Why would you do that?
They're taking the apostrophe away.
You got to be spending millions on all of your properties to remove the apostrophe and then replace it with the non-apostrophe title.
And so
weird.
I see the story yesterday, and I'm like, wow, they're Papa John's is changing their name to Papa John's. So I asked my wife to check the app so that we could be sure to know which one we're getting when we want to get a pizza. We want to make sure we get the right Papa John's. And so she looks at the app, and I screenshotted it. The app has already changed.
Wow.
To the Papa John's without the apostrophe. But the type Papa John's underneath that shows up on your app has not changed. So somebody screwed up at Papa John's.
They've also made the logo, the Papa part of the logo, a little bit different.
Yeah, they have.
Well, both the Papa and the Johns are different.
Yeah.
Which, wow, that was an important change.
I know.
That was important. I'm glad they did that. That probably clears it up for a lot of people now.
It's okay, good.
Well, I was really confused as to what they were saying they were when they had the apostrophe there. I didn't get it, so I never ordered anything.
I didn't know.
Now I will, though, because they got the fat lettering. So, and the no apostrophe with the fat lettering.
I mean, we got rid of what's his face, right? Schnatter.
John, yeah.
Whatever his name is. Got rid of him, that racist guy. A couple of
because
years
what
ago.
was it? He said it was.
He was on a conference call.
Oh, that's right.
Talked about Colonel Sanders and how Colonel Sanders got away with saying the N-word. Only he said the N-word.
Said the whole word.
We can't have that.
And he wasn't calling anybody that.
Correct.
So senseless. Just so
it
senseless.
was absolutely senseless.
But mindless nonsense. And the guy's kicked out of his own company for it.
And he was on the board of some university. They kicked him off of that. I mean, he still owned a bunch. I mean, he still owns a bunch. He owns, I don't know. He owned a pile of Papa John's. I mean, I think
he probably still does.
Yeah,
he just stepped down from
He can't
being
be a
on
part
the board,
of it. Right.
Not CEO anymore.
And his comment to the name change was maybe they ought to just start becoming obsessed with making better pizzas.
Is he saying the pizza isn't good at Papa John's?
He's just saying,
oh, wow. It sounds like a little bit of bitterness there.
Absolutely.
A little bitterness. I don't blame him, but a little bitterness.
Well, I mean, they're taking away his apostrophe.
Speaking of food stories, you see the story about that? Did you read about that? Kevin, you see that in the paper today? You read about that?
Incredible, Jay.
A Vietnamese Communist Party leader was in Great Britain for some reason. I don't know. They were having like a how can we oppress people even more meeting, kind of a
they get
summit.
Together from time to time.
Yeah, and so he attended that because it's really important that they be as oppressive as they possibly can. Well, he's at this trendy restaurant in London, and he orders an $1,100 steak and puts it on TikTok. Puts a video out on TikTok. The chef, this, I guess, celebrity chef, cutting up a piece of the steak and feeding it to him. And so people were like, isn't that the gold-flecked steak that sells for $1,100? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
I wonder if our commie leaders who are keeping the rest of us in squalor shouldn't maybe be showing off how much
is
money
that the communist
they waste?
leader ruler that was busy raping the tennis player Peng Shui? That's been missing for the last few weeks, and now
Did we know that she was?
She admits she claimed it. She claimed it, and then she disappeared, and they just reappeared. She just reappeared this weekend at some Chinese event, so she's gone through re-education camp, so everything's fine
she's fine. I think she said
now.
right.
Yeah, everything.
She's fine.
It's
That's
all
great.
good.
Pat Gray.
Got some tweets here. Peekapool, the snarky jackhole Pokemon, tweets, the main difference between ivermectin and Pfizer-mectin is that ivermectin is for horses and Pfizer-mectin is for sheep. Mindless, unquestioning, compliant sheep.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Vern Lundquist, Tom Hanks gives too much to Democrats. I know that much. Yes. Yes, he does.
Well, maybe that's why he's living in a dump and not making any money.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
He's only worth $350 million.
Yeah, that's not much. It's not much.
Seems
Maybe we
like-
should do a GoFundMe page for Tom. Won't you please help Tom
Please help.
have another mansion? Maybe this one in Italy. You too can see to it that Tom lives a better life.
Okay.
We were talking about the communist who, the Vietnamese
Holy
communist,
cow.
went to London, got the $1,100 steak. Not only, I mean, that is so typically Marxist. That's who they are.
That's for
what they
sure.
do. They keep their people in squalor while they live, the life of unbelievably successful capitalists. And it's perfectly fine. Like, who pays $1,100 for a steak? You can get a great steak at a really nice restaurant for $60. Do you need gold? Yeah. Do you need the edible gold flakes on it? I don't think so. Does that make it taste better?
Let me eat.
And I don't want to get in the way of you eating. I really don't, because I'd lose an arm if I did. But you could just get a normal steak.
Right.
You don't need that kind of extravagance.
Right.
It's just, it's immoral. And when you're keeping, especially when you're doing what you're doing to your people, and they are pissed because many of the the proletariat in Vietnam saw this and are really pissed off. I don't know what they're going to do about it. Probably nothing, but they're angry about it.
Well, some of the
because
other leaders
he rubbed it in their face on TikTok.
The
other leaders might be angry about it.
Yeah, they might shut him down.
Yeah,
if it was, and that's what it was Vietnam, obviously, and that's what I was talking about China with Peng Shui. But I'm sure that Jinping, he would have recalled him home and said, "Bro."
Yeah, he would probably. At least keep it off TikTok. If you're going to live high on the hog like that.
If you're from China, those people, they disappear for a while, and that's what Peng Shui did. That's what they did to Jack Ma,
the tennis player.
Yes,
right,
right.
She disappeared for a while after posting that she'd been sexually assaulted by a member of the Chinese Communist Party.
Right, and then that went away. The post all disappeared. And now people,
and she was gone for a long time, out of sight.
She's been gone, missing. And they've been asking about her. The UN Office for Human Rights requested information. The World Tennis Association or the Women's Tennis Association have been asking about her. And so she apparently reappeared this weekend.
Apparently.
Mm-hmm. I guess there's questions over whether it was actually her or not that reappeared. But they did that to Jack Ma too with Alibaba, who was saying some bad stuff. Some negative things.
He was one of the richest
China.
People in the world,
right.
Jack Ma.
And then he disappeared for a while.
Mm-hmm. And now he's singing a different tune.
Well,
a little bit different
everything's
tune.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure, fun. I lost a bunch of millions of dollars, and the company isn't worth as much as it was, and I'm not quite as visible as I used to be. But everything's fine.
But wow, are things great? Things are great. Same thing happened to China's biggest movie star, Zhao Wei, I think is her name. She said some things, and then she also disappeared. She was gone for a long time. Nobody had seen her. Nobody knew what happened to her. I don't know if she's reappeared.
I don't know that either. That's interesting.
But we should look into that and see, because they do this on a fairly regular basis. If somebody displeases them, they'll take them away and teach them a thing
We're
or two.
allowing you to be who you are.
Yeah.
Okay, we're allowing that.
Yeah.
Don't start
badmouth us.
Don't start thinking you're above what we are allowing you to be.
Yeah. Don't you dare badmouth it. I'm guessing there's some torture involved and a little re-education, and then they can resurface again. But if they can't be made to understand the basics of Chinese society, why then maybe they disappear forever. That's pretty scary. It's pretty scary.
It is.
But again, that is Marxism. That's how they operate. That's who they are. And it's sad that this millennial generation doesn't understand it. Maybe the more of these sort of stories they see and that make it into their, Twitter feed or Facebook, maybe they'll start to realize that communism isn't all it's cracked up to be.
But those are the same people that are crying that the court system is rigged and the Rittenhouse trial is wrong and we need to just fry people on the stake right now.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I thought that's what we were supposed to be against.
Yeah.
Nope.
Huh. I guess not.
Oh, okay.
I guess not. The Rittenhouse trial is a really good example, though, of how people either don't pay any attention at all or ignore all the facts once they're presented with them. Because there's never been a clearer cut trial of a person who's not guilty than Kyle Rittenhouse.
Right. I mean,
it was so obvious from the very beginning that he shot those guys in self-defense.
From the very beginning.
Yeah.
From the very beginning, it was obvious. And yet, nope. Not to everyone.
And yet we get people like Jalen Rose.
Oh, my gosh.
Babbling nonsense.
He's commenting. This was posted over the weekend. They were at they're doing a pre or post NBA game. Mm-hmm. And Stephen A. Smith is there, and the other ESPN basketball announcer
is there.
I'm not
Jalen.
sure his name. But Jalen wants to comment about Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, don't.
And
Please don't. Please.
Sure?
Don't do it. Don't do it, Jalen.
Okay, because he wants to tell you about about Black Lives Matter.
I'm just suggesting he shouldn't do it.
And he's trying to tie this into Rittenhouse.
All right.
And here's the thing.
Black
Lives Matter protests was actually taking place because Jacob Blake was shot and killed by police officers.
No.
Here's the thing.
That's untrue. That's inaccurate.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing, Jalen. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay? Maybe you should stick to basketball on a basketball broadcast and not get into this.
Maybe.
That's possible.
It's possible.
You know?
That's possible. Here's the thing.
Jacob
Blake
was shot multiple times but survived.
While going for a weapon.
Yes.
No, going for a weapon.
Right.
It was
after having sexually assaulted his girlfriend.
Who was the one who called the police.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Took her car. It was her car that he was driving.
Yeah.
Right? If I remember correctly.
So. Yeah, if I remember right. Yeah.
Took her car, gets pulled over, refuses all the orders the cops are giving him as they follow him around the car, and he gets back into his driver's seat. He's reaching for something, and then they finally shoot him multiple times. Now he's got permanent injuries. However, he is alive. He was not killed. But nice try, Jalen. Actually, it wasn't. It wasn't even a good try. You should just keep quiet about things like that because you don't know what you're talking about. And when you start that with "here's the thing," and then the thing is completely wrong, that's not a good sign that you know what you're talking about, my friend. So
now I'm sure that the other basketball announcer and Stephen A. Smith set him straight.
Oh, I'm sure they did.
That video was probably, they cut it off before Stephen said, Jalen, here's the thing.
You're wrong.
That's not true.
Yeah, that's just not true. Now, Stephen A. probably wouldn't correct him, even if he knew the case, even if he knew that it was not true.
Right.
I bet he wouldn't correct him. 888-900-3393. Let me tell you about Omega XL. You have 360 joints from your neck down each vertebrae in your back to your arms, hips, knees, and feet. That's 360 joints that just take a beating with daily activity and aging. That's why your joints hurt constantly and ruin your sleep. And for me, my elbow pain would wake me up occasionally, and it caused problems during the day because I couldn't lift things up with my left arm. It hurt, and I took a lot of different things, but finally, I took Omega XL because of the science. When we're young, our bodies produce SPMs. They're nature's way of keeping joints healthy, but as we age, we don't produce enough SPMs, which could be why I was in pain, and maybe it's why you are as well. But you can restore them and rejuvenate joints and muscles so you can move like when you were young again. Go to omegaxl.com/Pat. And when you buy your first bottle, you'll get a second one for free. That's omegaxl.com/Pat. Or call them at 800-844-4880.
It's Pat Gray Unleashed on the Blaze.
It is. She's right about that. It's very true. Did you see the poll that Matthew McConaughey leads most of the others? In fact, I think everybody in this latest survey, he leads Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, by 8 points.
No way.
He leads Beto by 2-1, by a 2-1 margin. 49-27. Is that incredible? That's people liking his movies, or they like him in his commercials, or they like him because he's a Texas Longhorn who, by the way, lost their 6th straight game over the weekend.
Yeah.
Geez, I don't know what's wrong with Texas, but wow. Tough sledding right now for Matthew McConaughey as far as being a Texas Longhorn fan. Oof. It's got to hurt. Lost to Kansas last week and West Virginia over the weekend. Anyway, he's supposedly up by 8 points on Greg Abbott. That is ridiculous, if that's true.
I don't believe it.
43% to 35%. McConaughey over Abbott. And 22% would pick somebody else. Huh. Wow. You don't believe it?
No way.
I kind of do because I don't know that Texans understand where McConaughey is on issues. Do you know where he stands on anything? I kind of don't. I mean, I suspect he's probably left of center when you start delving into his politics.
Absolutely.
Because he's,
right? And he was all for wearing masks. Right?
Yes.
He was all for wearing masks. We saw that
big time
interview there. For your safety and everyone's safety. And boy, people, I mean, I don't know if you've been out and about lately in our neck of the woods, Pat, but there is no pandemic. I mean, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over.
Mostly people are not wearing masks.
And
that's
mostly
for sure.
there are plenty of people, and I say plenty. There are a number of people that I see wearing masks. I saw, and yesterday threw me because I saw a guy come up to the counter at one store we were at, and he was with his daughter. He wasn't wearing a mask. The daughter was wearing a mask. And I thought, well, weird. Why are you making your kid wear a mask? And then the mom came up, and she was wearing a mask. So the dad was like, I'm not wearing a mask. You can put the mask on the kid, and you can wear the mask, but I'm not wearing one. But for the most part, people are not wearing masks, and they are out and about.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still trying to be as socially distanced as possible, I mean, with a little, people still have a little questionable moving in crowds, that kind of thing, but barely.
Yeah.
Barely. I mean, it is not, if you're living any place that there's lockdowns, not excluding Europe, obviously, but in the United States, and not here.
No.
Not in the great state of Texas, I'll tell you that.
I went to a small fry football game. It was the Super Bowl of the small fry league. And I don't know if they call it small fry, but these are 9-year-olds because my granddaughter is a cheerleader for one of the teams that was in the Super Bowl.
I got to watch a game anyway.
So I got to watch the small fries play.
Continued to watch the entire cheers going on.
I don't think even one person had a mask on.
Now,
it's outdoors, obviously, and they played it. This is kind of cool for the small fries because they got to play at Dragon Stadium, South Lake Carroll's big football stadium. It holds, 10,000-12,000 people. There weren't quite that many at the small fry Super Bowl. No, not quite 12,000. My guess would be 12, but. No, there was more than that. There's actually a good turnout on our side of the field. On the other side, which surprised me because we were playing a South Lake team, and of course, South Lake Carroll is one of the dominant
perennial
high school football championship teams in the state.
I mean, their quarterback is quitting to go to college so that he can get get money.
He skipped his senior year.
After a champion, he took him to the state championships
last year. Yes, and then this year it was going to be his senior year. He left early.
I need to make some money
so that he could go to Ohio State and start taking advantage of the name, image, and likeness thing. And he's already a multimillionaire from that. He's over. I think it's $3.5 million or something. He's already made.
Oh, really?
And he's not going to play a game for Ohio State. For a long time, because C.J. Stout is doing an incredible job for that team.
But he doesn't need to, as far if you're looking at just income.
Right. The guy's already set. He's not even 8. Well, he's barely 18. He's 18, and he's already a multimillionaire. So it's pretty nice. But that's the kind of football program they have at South Lake. But nobody was wearing a mask, and I thought, wow, I think we're done.
Oh yeah, I was amazed. We went. Just everywhere we went this weekend, it was just. There's no such thing as a pandemic here. No way. I mean, I was all over the Metroplex.
I wonder what would happen if there was another massive flare-up. Would people then go back to the mask?
I don't think so.
I don't know that they
I don't
would.
think so.
Yeah, I don't know that they would.
Here, I don't think you'd be able to pull it off.
It'd be tough.
I think
be like, no, I'm done with that. If I get it, I get it. I'm vaccinated. I'm not vaccinated. If I get it, I get it.
Right.
That kind of thing. That's the attitude I think people have.
I think they have too.
Yeah.
And you were talking about the ivermectin and the Pfizer-mectin, and if you're vaccinated, if you're not vaccinated, and if you can get it. I mean, there's still people that are sick that can't get it. I mean, the ivermectin. We saw there's a Jason Jones prayer rally today, as a matter of fact, this afternoon here in Texas, DFW, Burleson, Texas, at this Texas Health. Is it Hughley Hospital?
Looks like Hughley.
I think weren't we there? Anyway, it doesn't matter. That's a side story. But it's because this father of 6 has COVID, and they're refusing to give him ivermectin.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, what is going on? Why is that such
Especially
a difficult thing?
if the treatment you're giving him isn't working? If it's not working, why wouldn't you try it? Why wouldn't you? And we're not talking about the horse paste. For any lefties who might be, we are not going to give him ivermectin. That's horse paste. That's horse dewormer. No, we're talking about the Nobel Prize winning ivermectin that won a Nobel Prize in 2015 or 16. It has been so beneficial to mankind. Mankind, not horse kind. So if nothing else is working, why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you just try it? Give it a shot. Let's see if this works and brings him out of it. Doesn't make any sense to me. No, instead, let him continue to decline,
right,
and die eventually. That's ridiculous.
That's not what you're supposed to be about.
No, it's not. And it's because of the agenda. They're so stubborn in this agenda that they're not going to listen to anything else. No, I'm not giving it to them. No, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
Okay. Well, then how about I go get it somewhere? And again, that's what forces people to get it at the feed store. Stupid. It's just stupid. What could happen? Let's say it doesn't even work for the COVID treatment. Is it going to kill them by taking the human version of ivermectin? Is that going to kill them? No, probably not. Almost certainly not. Is it going to do them any harm? I don't think so. What are the side effects of ivermectin if you're taking it for like a parasite?
You turn into a horse.
Okay, you can turn into a horse.
I think you turn directly into a horse.
Okay, that's a bad side effect. Now, is that the most common side effect?
No.
Okay.
No.
Even if there's a chance, though.
Yeah.
And you could grow a third tail.
Grow a third
maybe?
tail. Yeah. Okay. If you've already got 2.
All right. Well, those 2 are problematic.
Yeah.
I didn't know about those side effects. All right.
What could happen? I don't know. I mean, seriously, I don't know the side effects.
But is the side effect worse than dying from COVID-19? I
would say no to that.
I'd say no.
I would say no to that. I mean, we give people medicines. We see commercials. I watched a commercial the other day. I wish I would have. I don't even remember what it was for. I got to go back and find it. But I mean, the side effects were incredible. Mm-hmm. The list of side effects that could possibly happen if you take this
from
medicine.
One of the broadcasts.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like, well, why would you even take that?
On a 60-second commercial, about 57 seconds are taken up with the side effects. It's pretty amazing. 888-900-3393. Side effects of ivermectin.
Headache.
Uh-oh.
Muscle aches.
Oh, my.
And this may contain, so it might include. You might have dizziness.
Okay.
You might have nausea.
Yeah.
You might have some diarrhea.
Okay.
You might have some mild skin rash.
Is it going to give me tuberculosis like I hear about on all these?
Sound like they would be worth it.
Yeah, I'll take my chances with the headache.
Of COVID.
Okay. I'll take my chances with getting a headache. That's amazing. It's absolutely unbelievable. It's hard to understand.
It sure is.
It really is hard to understand. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. We were talking about China a few minutes ago. Did you see they just They launched a hypersonic missile that apparently flew around the world 5 times faster than the speed of sound. Now, the speed of sound, I think, varies depending on certain conditions, but it's around 600 to 700 miles an hour. So you're at 3,000 to 3,500 miles an hour on this missile. And now they believe that not only did this hypersonic nuclear weapon travel at 3,500 miles an hour, but while it was traveling at that speed, it fired a second missile. They didn't think that was possible.
That? Yeah. I did see where they were. Some military general was.
Yeah, a little concerned about it because he said no country had previously been able to demonstrate this advanced engineering feat, and the test is said to have caught Pentagon scientists off guard.
Now, I hope that is just
I hope
BS.
it's a lie. Yeah, I do. I do
too. I
that
want
was my
that
first
to
thought.
be BS so bad. But in today's world, with how we've handled a few things in the recent past with our military and our leaders who are in charge now, it's a little disconcerting.
It is. It is. Experts at the Pentagon's Advanced Research Agency, DARPA, they're said to be unsure how China achieved the feat. Now, I hope it's BS.
I know.
But it doesn't sound like it is.
I know.
Scientists say it, quote, tests the constraints of physics, unquote. Huh. Okay, well, good. All right. Okay.
But don't you dare say anything bad about it.
Are you ready to learn Mandarin?
No doubt.
Okay.
China's not an enemy.
I am.
All right.
I mean,
I
like
want to brush
Chinese
up on it
people,
a little
too.
bit. Yeah. But come on.
Come on.
All right. We will see you again tomorrow right here on most of this broadcast. You'll also be able to hear me if you switch over to Glenn, the Glenn Beck program. I'll be filling in for Glenn this week. Yeah.
Nice.
Isn't that fun? Isn't that fun?
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.